It's Jennifer again with Watercolor Girlfriend. Today I'm going to paint an abstract painting in my watercolor sketchbook journal. Oh, there's more paintings in there that we have painted over time here. And your paintings don't, and a lot of times people think of watercolor paintings as a landscape or a bird or some fruit, and it needs to be really tight and intricate, and it doesn't always have to be. I appreciate a larger brush, and I often use like a number 8, which is kind of subjective in the painting world and brush world, but I often use a larger brush and not something fine and detailed. So you can experience something here on this channel that will be a little more looser and and often have some abstract or looser type of paintings. So again, this is what we're going to paint today, and I'm going to talk a little bit as we go through. Okay, enjoy. So we're really going to get started pretty much right away. I just like to draw an outline to kind of enclose where I'm going to paint. It gives you a little bit of a white border around the outside of your painting. It's not entirely necessary, of course. This is just how I like to create my paintings. So I'm really getting, like I said, right into it with some color, and I'm not real critical about where I start or the colors that I even use. I'm just going to grab stuff that I enjoy. And I will also start to compare, colors that go together or don't go together. It's more about what I like and the texture and the appearance that the paint on the page with the water all combined and what that creates. So you can see I'm really just loosey-goosey grabbing something that, oh, I like this color, I like that color, and I go into it and just paint. And you can also see I'm using a larger brush than maybe you might be used to. Maybe not. Maybe you enjoy using that size brush as well. So you see on the left side there, I'm also getting rid of paint. I apologize, I should have zoomed out for this one a little better so you could see my work area a little more. But to try out a color before I use it, if I'm not entirely confident it's the color I want to use or it's the color that mixed to give me the color I like, I will put that on that little piece of paper to the left there and just get an idea of how it looks. And it will build up and fill that entire piece of paper, and then I will flip it over and I will fill the other side. And then sometimes I use it as a painting, sometimes I send it as a painting to a friend, sometimes I won't fill the back and then I tear them up into like 4x6 squares, and you can send them as postcards or even in another envelope so that you can use up the paintings you have as something fun that friends and family would enjoy getting. So I'm going to let you enjoy watching this a little more, and I'll come back later and talk about some other stuff. Enjoy. So you see I added some circles there and some marks down below in red. That helps to add some interest. Excuse me. I'm still getting over a little cold. And then I added a lot of water to the orange there on the top, and then I put in some salt, and that'll be a fun texture as well. And I wanted to point out, I don't always get the results I want. I'd love to try things and then it's like, that didn't work. So you saw me use that dropper with some blue, and then I dropped it onto the page, and I wasn't real happy with the direction that was taking me. So I just abandoned that, and I just said, whatever, I'm not going to do that. I'll explore that in another painting. And what I should do is create, a larger puddle or a larger slurry of color and water, maybe in a receptacle where I can get more of that into the dropper and explore how that looks on the painting. So maybe in the future I'll venture into that a little more. And you can see that I'm going over a lot of the painting again and again. Some of it is maybe the watercolors that I choose that might not have as a vibrant of a pigment as I was aiming for, or I don't know exactly. Maybe I just wanted it to be brighter even after the first time or two that I put it on the painting. It could also be the watercolor paper isn't stellar. So this, I think it's a 70-pound watercolor painting, so it's not gonna show your painting quite as fantastic as something a little thicker. Excuse me. And I'm gonna show you that as well when I use sketch paper. You can see it also sort of wrinkles a little bit there down below. Again, this is sketchbook, and it's just to have a good time and try things and have a nice collection with you. So you can always get a thicker paper, more expensive paints, of course, and try those out and experiment. So we'll show you how the salt looks in the after that dries and I remove that. I'm going to continue with the painting, as you can see, and use some other textures and stuff, and I will let you enjoy that for a bit. Actually, before I play some music for you, I did want to finish the comment about the paints that I use and the type of paper and stuff, and going back over the painting after it has dried and adding more color. Don't think that I don't like this, how this is, or that I think it's poor quality, or that the only way you're going to get what you want is to continue to go over and over and over your painting, because I go over it in some places. I don't continue to go over it in the same places, thinking that, oh, that didn't come out the way I wanted and I had to redo it over and over and over. I like that like that orange that you just saw me put on the painting. I like that there is a lighter part of the orange and then it gets a heavier, brighter color, and I'll do it with a lot of these where it's a layer of paints and a layer of tones and contrasts and bright and dark and more pastel-y and more primary. And see, like this one, now I'm not going to have the entire red in that powerful of a color, powerful of a tone, but some of the areas I would like that. So with this option, I get the option to have both. So I do like that, and I just wanted to point that out. Enjoy. Now, with an abstract and any painting that you're working on, if you like, I enjoy, flipping it around and turning it in different directions to get a feel for how the painting would lay down with a slightly different look, almost a different composition, really, as you turn your painting. And you can do it as many times as you'd like, and you can turn it vertically and horizontally, and however you want to pursue that. Okay, so it's pretty dry, and I'd like to wipe off all of the salt that's on here. I'm going to do that on a little separate piece of paper. You can even take it outside or over to the trash if you'd like. And it gives you can see even like to the right there, how cool that is, right under my thumb right now. That's just something you can't really get in another fashion if you're not going to use the salt. It really repels that water in its own unique way. And you can paint over it. I think I'm going to do a little bit of that, but you can certainly leave it. You can do it again and again. I also wanted to make note that sometimes I like to go back and look at other paintings that I have done in the past to see what I liked about that painting, and maybe I wanted to repeat that in this painting. I really love those circles. I'm going to explore those for as long as I want. And I seem to have come up with the fact that I like 3 circles in this fashion, and I think it adds some movement a little different interest. That's just the way I'm going right now. Maybe you want to do some squares, some dashes or whatever. And then, you know, I like to see where I've made some of the placement of the paint. If I've filled in all of the white space, how did I like that? It's important once, and that's why it's nice to even have stuff in a journal, a sketchbook, because you can go back and look at those things quickly and be like, remember when I did that? And you can see now I'm covering up some of the yellow. I just like that feel. Now I'm venturing into some of the watercolor pencils that I have, and I have a little selection. I've got about 10 colors and that I like to use. You can buy them in a pack or individually, and I have kind of both of that. They're not real expensive and they're really fun. So you can see that you can be real precise and you can create a different type of line. And then it's so cool to be able to go over that, and it kind of pushes the paint around, but it keeps a lot of that sharp pencil texture, and the line work is still there. So I'm real fond of that and the character that it gives to your painting. I am sorry, I have no idea what I'm pointing at. I think I'm just adding some texture, and other than just like blobs of watercolor paint, I am adding, you know, different shapes. I'm using excuse my phone noise. I am changed the brush to something a little bit smaller, and I did, you know, go through there with a little bit of different line. And now I'm exploring the watercolor pencil again. And this one is actually, it looks red, but it's more of like a magenta color, uh, pink. And I'm probably gonna, yeah, I'm gonna go over that with a little bit of a wash again. And then I think I'm gonna use some more colors here coming up. And then you can see what those watercolor pencils look like. I recommend giving them a try, and you could do a whole painting with those. You know, why the heck not? So then there's the Caran d'Ache crayons again, and these are the watercolor crayons. So it's going to give you, you can get a line again, and you could sharpen those for a line work, but then it's a little richer. So it's a deeper type of media. It's less delicate than the pencil, so it's, you know, going to be probably a little bolder, and that can give you a nice contrast if you have something lighter going on, or using it like there where it's got a light background, lighter, and you know, it can do all sorts of things. And I should try filling in larger areas so you can see how that looks. Oh, I did that in the question mark illustration that I did. So I used that in a large area so you can still see the texture. It's cool. And then you can move around the paint, so it also provides you with some paint color. And it looks like I didn't like that so much. So easy peasy, you just soak that up and that goes away. I think one of the reasons I love abstract painting, especially with watercolor, is you get to explore all these different types of media. So now I'm going to do some, and techniques. And here I'm going to splatter some paint. Love that. I I tend to find it kind of wraps up your painting, if that makes sense. Like you're putting kind of the finishing touches on it, and it is the icing on the top, or maybe the decoration on top of the icing of your cake here. And it sits on the top there of your painting, so it kind of finalizes everything. So I'm just going to turn it around and see how I like it. It's looking nice. I think all the directions appear pretty nice. Sometimes it's hard to decide where you're going to sign your name on an abstract painting, because really whoever has it in their home or wherever, they can display it wherever they want and however they want. So if you sign it, then they feel maybe obligated to hang it that way, right? So that your name is always easy to read in the proper fashion. So I'm going over again some of the areas that I have painted once before, and you can see that that orange was really only painted once, and then I added that salt, but it's not quite bright enough for me. So I'm gonna go over those areas. I like the contrast between some of the bright colors and some of the muted tones of those colors. So I'll go back through and you'll see me, I think this is the section, you'll see me add a lot of area of bright. And so I wanted to take a look at that painting with another painting that I did, and you know, did I like the colors? Did I like the way the textures have shown up in other areas? I'm going to add some of this ink work next, and I think I'm going to sign my name. And you'll see that I chose a couple of different ink pens. This is a Pilot ink pen, which is lovely, and I've been using these for years. It is an extra fine, precise rolling ball pen, just black, by Pilot. This one really can only be used, well, you know, depends on your preferences. After you have created the watercolor painting, this is not very waterproof. It's really maybe water resistant, but it will smear and, you know, bleed and stuff if you add water over something that you have already drawn. Adding a little more. You know, you step back, you take a look. Do you want to add some more? Do you want to add a little different shape, little dots or circles or triangles or squares, whatever you like, whatever you want to try. An abstract painting is also a really great place to do that kind of thing. Try different stuff. Oh, do I like this hatching? Yes, I do. And it not only does it create interest in that spot, but it'll help move your eye around the painting. And there's a lot of different things to enjoy when you add that kind of texture. So I'm just going to sign my name, and I just decided to put it there. You know, you could leave it off, but you know, I recommend you sign your work. So this is the other one that I've ordered. One of the other ones, it's a Sharpie, and it is a very fine point for drawing, and I am really loving this ultra fine point, and it's permanent, and you can draw first and then put watercolor over that, and after it's dry, I'm sorry, so you draw with it, then let it dry, which only takes a couple minutes, or you know, even less, and you can paint right over that. Whoops, crossing off my name. So it makes for a really nice, easy ink pen, and they're inexpensive. You order those, and there's my name. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you had a really fun time watching and seeing all the different techniques. I hope you'll try these on your own as well. See you next time.